This episode of Sports Addict Live brought to you by none other than First Round Collectibles. With over 40 years experience, First Round Collectibles offers the widest variety of quality Beckett-graded sports cards anywhere. Representing 10 major sports, First Round has all your favorite players from all your favorite teams at great prices. We are proud of our knowledgeable staff and top-rated customer service, and our reviews vouch for our integrity. Visit us today at firstroundcollectibles.com and find your heroes. That's the number one, STRoundcollectibles.com. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans.
All I hear, go get the money. So I go get it. Hate means I do something right. So I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him. I hit the nail on the head. Yeah, I'ma let him. All I hear, go get the money. So I go get it. Hate means I do something right. So I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him. I hit the nail on the head. Yeah, I'ma let him.
Welcome. How are you doing, everybody? Welcome to Sports Addict Live. Best bets for the weekend. Thank you so much for joining me on YouTube or Spotify, wherever you are joining me. I appreciate it. Great week. The NBA off and running. Wednesday night, great night of basketball. Tuesday night as well. Hockey full-fledged. Football full-fledged. World Series starting Friday night. Was supposed to do a kind of NBA preview this week, but my buddy and I had some technical issues, so we're pushing that back a little bit. But I thought that I would hop on here and give you some of my favorite bets for the weekend. Starting in the NFL, I have to go and look at what my record is. I'll just be real. Transparency is what we're all about here on Sports Addict Live, and I have no idea what my record is. I was gone for 2 weeks. I have it written down somewhere. I got to look into it. I don't think it's great, if we're being real. Every week's a fresh start. Still lots of season left to play. So let's get into it. NFL, 1 p.m. slate. Texas at Panthers. This is my favorite game to bet for the week. You got Texas minus 3.5 point favorites, and I'm picking Texas all day here. I don't think the Panthers can keep up scoring wise. The Texans defense has been surprisingly good, and I just don't think the Panthers can keep up here. Even if it's a low scoring game, you're asking the Texans to win by 4 points, and I think that's a no-brainer. Texans at 3.5. In the 4 p.m. slate, a little bit of a risk here, but the Bengals are in San Francisco. The Bengals are 4.5 point dogs here. So we don't know Brock Purdy's status. Niners have been reeling, which means that this could be a turnaround game, 2-game losing streak. Like the Niners could bounce back here. If you're giving me 4.5 points, I think the Bengals are coming. They're on the rise. I thought they were dead in the water, and they're alive. And they're coming. They look good. San Francisco's defense has looked pretty gettable. I know against the Vikings it was 22 points that they let, not a ton. And I know against the Browns it was only 17. But I think the Bengals, if not win, they're going to keep this close. I'm picking the Bengals at plus 4.5. Sunday Night Football, Bears at Chargers. Now, I pick a 1 o'clock game, 4 o'clock game, and I do the primetime games. I don't love this game. I don't like betting games that the Chargers are involved. You've heard me say it. The Chargers just charger, and it drives me insane. I don't like this game. However, Chargers defense has looked suspicious, extremely. The Bears, I don't know if Justin Fields is playing, if this new homie's playing. I don't know what's going on, but they've been scoring points. Even when Justin Fields was playing, they were scoring points. Chargers are minus 8.5 favorites right now, and I'm taking the Bears. Plus 8.5. I don't trust the Chargers. I don't enjoy betting the Chargers. And I don't enjoy betting the Bears, quite frankly. But if I have to choose, I'm taking the points at plus 8.5. By the way, the Texans minus 3.5 is minus 102. Bengals plus 4.5 is minus 115. And Bears plus 8.5 is minus 110. All right, Monday Night Football. Raiders are in Detroit. Minus 115 for the Lions at minus 7.5. And it's a big number. I don't love it. But the Raiders, whatever they've been throwing out there lately, the Lions had an embarrassing week last week. That was a tough pill to swallow. I talked about it the other day. I think that game was important for the Lions. I think they needed that spanking. And I think they get the message, and I think they come out, and I think they come out firing. If you're telling me they're going to win by 8 points or more, I'm taking the Lions at minus 7.5. All right, a couple money lines. So this section here, this is some underdog parlay that I really like this weekend. And I'll give you the odds, single game money line, but also parlay. The Jags are in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is the underdog in this situation. I know home field isn't what it used to be. And I know Jacksonville's been rolling. They're 5-2. They're feeling good. They're looking okay. I think this defense for Pittsburgh causes Jacksonville some problems. And I think that the offense is going to suck in the first half. And it's going to do great in the second half. This is what always happens. I would encourage you as well. I don't have the odds in front of me, but I would look into Jacksonville first half, Pittsburgh to win the game. This has been a really impressive trend by Pittsburgh recently where they are losing in the first half and they come back and they win the game. So I'm picking Pittsburgh there at plus 120. The Rams are in Dallas. Now, this is a bit of an unsettling pick. The Rams defense is not phenomenal outside of Donald. But the Rams offense has been impressive this year. Akua, we all know what that guy's been up to. Cooper Kupp is back in a big way. I know the running game has left a bit to be desired, but I like this Rams offense. And the Dallas defense just hasn't been the same without Diggs. I know they have Micah Parsons. This is why it's an underdog parlay. Not my favorite, but if I'm going to pick an underdog here, I'm picking the Rams in Dallas at plus 215. And then, like I talked about before, the Bengals in San Francisco. I think that this Cincinnati team can come out, can win this game. Plus 160 to pick the Bengals. All that together, Steelers beating the Jags, Rams beating the Cowboys, and Bengals beating the 49ers. All that together is plus 1702. 1702. Not bad, and 100% doable. That's my underdog parlay and my underdog picks for the week. A couple other money lines that I liked here. Texans, like we talked about before, Texans against the Panthers, minus 178. And the next three are all really heavy favorites. It's just a lot of juice to pay. But you have the Eagles minus 330, Ravens minus 450, Chiefs minus 335. I think these are all really favorable matchups, and I think that all these teams can win. I'm just going to pull up this schedule right quick. That total parlay is plus 223. Not huge, but I think it's a pretty safe play. It might seem a bit too obvious, But I like those picks this weekend. Let me just pull this up. So the Ravens are... This is good radio right here. Good podcasting. All right. Ravens are in Arizona playing the Cardinals. I like that. At minus 450, putting it in a parlay. I wouldn't do money line, but I like it in a parlay. The Chiefs are in Denver, and the Eagles are in Washington. And like I said, the Texans are in Carolina. So all those put together, Texans, Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, plus 223. My tease of the week. We all know I love a good tease. Eagles at Commanders, minus 7, teasing that down to minus 1. Chiefs, minus 7.5, teasing that down to minus 1.5. And Lions, minus 7.5 against the Raiders, teasing that down to minus 1.5. All that is plus 140. And if you were to do... So this is my thinking... Excuse me. This is my thinking. If you were to do a money line parlay for all those, you're looking at plus 115 for a money line parlay for the Eagles, Chiefs, and Lions. So if you tease it, you're bumping it up to plus 140, and you're essentially saying they're going to win the game. The Eagles by 1, Chiefs by 1.5, Lions by 1.5. So it's essentially a moneyline parlay, but getting a bit better odds. So that's my tease for the week. Eagles down to minus 1, Chiefs minus 1.5, Lions minus 1.5 at plus 140. All right, moving on. The NBA. Now, like I said on the last episode, if you're the one person who watched my podcast back last fall of 22, you know that I love a Friday Night Tease. And in the NBA, that's exactly what we have. A lot of people don't like teasing NBA games, and I'm the exact opposite. I absolutely love it. So here we go. Friday Night Tease. The Raptors are in Chicago against the Bulls. The Raptors are plus 2, teasing that to plus 7. Pistons are in Charlotte. Charlotte had a win that broke my heart. I had a great parlay last night that was shattered by the Hawks doing what they always do, and that's lose to teams that they shouldn't. So the NBA started. The Hawks are losing to the Hornets. I turned on the Sixers-Milwaukee game like 5 minutes in. First thing I see is Embiid complaining that a foul wasn't called. So the NBA is back. We know it's back. It's here. So Pistons, they're plus 4 underdogs to tease them to plus 9 against Charlotte. Pistons had a terrific game against Miami. They were losing by 19, came back and almost stole the game. And then Denver is minus 4.5 favorites in Memphis. And teasing that to plus 0.5, essentially saying they'll win the game. So that's my tease. Raptors plus 7, Pistons plus 9, and Nuggets plus 0.5. That is all at plus 180. A couple money lines that I like. Raptors plus 110. Warriors plus 126. The Warriors are in Sacramento. They had a tough loss the other day. I like Sacramento, and I think Sacramento can win this game. I just think that's a tough game. Tough game for Curry, tough game for Thompson, tough game for Wiggins. And I think the Warriors come out firing tomorrow night. So plus 126 for the Warriors, plus 110 for the Raptors. Now, if you throw that into a parlay with the Nuggets are minus 186 favorites against Memphis. And if you throw that in with the Nuggets in a parlay, that's plus 630, which is pretty tasty. Now, the Raptors against the Bulls, I mean, listen, still don't really know what the Raptors are. I think with the Warriors, we know they'll get there. How high up they will be when they get there, that's left to be determined. But the Raptors are still a mystery. We still don't fully know, but you know what? I like them playing the Bulls. The Bulls are a mess right now. I know it's just game one, but they're already calling player-only meetings, and it's just already, even from last year, some quotes from Dragic, and they just they aren't a cohesive unit, and I just think that they're extremely gettable. So Raptors plus 110, Warriors plus 126, and if you throw that in a parlay with the Nuggets, you're getting plus 630 odds. So don't mind that at all. All right, a couple other bets in the NBA that I like. OKC is in Cleveland tomorrow, and OKC, I think I mentioned it last time, they're a team, keep an eye out on them. They are a good team defensively. They can score a lot of points, and they're going to be a good team this year. Probably not getting higher than 5, 6 in the West, but I really like this team. They're playing Cleveland, who came off a terrific win against the Brooklyn Nets the other night. OKC is plus 3.5 underdog. I like teasing OKC to plus 8.5. I like teasing the Warriors. The Warriors are plus 3 underdogs against the Kings. So if I'm getting the Warriors as an underdog and can add 5 points to that to plus 8, and then the Clippers are minus 3.5 favorites against the Jazz. Clippers look great the other night. Teasing that to plus 1.5. That's plus 180 as well. So OKC to plus 8.5, Warriors to plus 8, Clippers to plus 1.5. I like that extra 5 points against Cleveland for OKC. I think that OKC, they're a good team. I think Cleveland's better, and I think Cleveland will win. But if you're giving me an extra 5 points going to 8.5, I think that's doable for the Thunder. Plus 180 for that tease. So there you go. 2 teases in the NBA for your Friday night tease. Once again, Raptors plus 7, Pistons plus 9, Denver plus 0.5 at plus 180, OKC at plus 8.5, Warriors at plus 8, Clippers at plus 1.5, also at plus 180. And if you want to mix and match that around, I have no problem with it. Love it. All right. To the NHL. Excuse me. Chicago is in Las Vegas. Vegas is rolling, and we talked about it the other night. I think they're unstoppable, and I think they're clear-cut favorites to double down as the Stanley Cup champions. Vegas minus 1.5 is at minus 120, and I just think that, you know, these teams like Chicago, like the Sharks, like the Ducks, I just think Vegas is going to roll, and you can lock in the minus 1.5 every time. So minus 1.5 is minus 120 for Vegas. And then the Wild, Minnesota Wild, are in Washington. And Washington had a good win the other night against the Devils. Minnesota had a tough night tonight against the Flyers. Minnesota's a good team. I think they're going to bounce back. Washington is not a good team. I think they had a terrific game the other night, and I think coming right back down. Minnesota bounces back tomorrow night against the Capitals, minus 104 for the money line. Moving on to the MLB. I don't even know. I'm going with the Rangers minus 1.5 here for the game tomorrow night. I think that it's their time. They've never won a World Series. I think they win it this time around. But hey, I've been down in the Diamondbacks all playoff run. So who knows? Who knows what the deal is there? I just think that these bats, they're locked, they're ready to go. They were on fire against the Astros. And I just think tomorrow night's a blowout. I do. I mean, blowout, I don't know, 5-2, 6-3, 6-4, something like that. But either way, I believe it's Rangers minus 1.5. All right, there you go. My favorite bets for Friday night. My favorite bets for Sunday for football. thank you once again so much for joining me. If you're not following me on Twitter or X at SportAddictMark, come at me. Find me on there. You can find me on Spotify. You can find me on YouTube. More podcast platforms to come. But either way, thank you guys so much for joining me. Make sure, let me know on Twitter if you're following these bets. Let me know. Let's make some money. We'll see you on the weekend. Until then, get hooked.